Okay, so we have been talking about the user acceptance testing in the process, and what we talked about was the selection criteria for user acceptance testing. And now we have to see that how we manage the testing phase. Testing phase is that phase where a system is put into use and you want to test whether the system is working well or not. Okay. The idea of is that you once you have developed a knowledge management system, you want to test whether the system is working effectively or not on two accounts. One is whether the knowledge that you have created is valid in terms of its completeness, correctness, okay, and second whether it is functional or not. So, based on these two wide criteria, you are going to decide and put it to use. Okay. So, at the testing phase, that is the second phase before it is finally put to use to the users. So, this is the second phase. So, in this phase basically you are going to decide about certain things, that is when, what, how and where to evaluate the knowledge base. So, these questions must be answered at this particular phase, that when to evaluate. Once you put the system for operational use or before it. Now, the question is what to test, functionality or completeness of the data or correctness of the data or accuracy. Okay. So, these are the questions that is to be identified. How we are going to test it? Another question, where you are going to evaluate it, in the lab, in the field. Okay. Then another question is that decide who should be the logical and user acceptance testing. Okay. That is, who is going to do it. See, you can involve a number of stakeholders in the process. User acceptance, you can even include certain users to see and get their feedback. You can also use other stakeholders like suppliers, vendors. You can also use various functional heads in the process. So far as users are concerned, okay, that is one set of stakeholders. On the other side, you can also include experts in the process, because in that way they would be able to see that how well the tacit knowledge which they have with them has been codified, right. So, they would be able to visually see the knowledge that they have in their mind in explicit form, and they can validate it. Then the knowledge developers, experts and various stakeholders, these are the people who should go for logical and user acceptance testing, right. The next point is you have to identify a set of criteria in advance. So, what could be the criteria? As I already talked about it, the criteria may be related to either the knowledge content that is created or its functionality. Okay. When I am talking about the verification of the knowledge, it includes certain aspects. You make sure that there is no duplication, there is no error, first, second, and third, it is complete in itself, it is correct and accurate, and it is the information that is provided is valid in nature. So, these are the criteria that is related to verification process. So, that you can see that the knowledge that is kept over there is complete, correct, accurate and valid. Okay. There is no duplication, it is not outdated or redundant. Okay. So, that is one way to look at it, and the second set of evaluation criteria that you can identify is that whether it is working well. It means that the end users are able to find it useful for their work or not. So, these are the two different set of criteria that could be taken up when at the testing phase. Okay. Then you at the same time you also go for documentation and get feedback in recorded form for all the stakeholders, whether it is knowledge developer, whether it is experts, whether it is end users, okay, or it is the people who are maintaining the system. Okay. So, from all of them you get the feedback, because this feedback will help you to decide whether the system is working well or not. Then you also need to see that the developer, knowledge developer, the experts, or the user, they are well trained to make use of the system, they understand what is there. Okay. And then you go for some kind of triangulation or meeting of experts, knowledge developers or user to ensure that knowledge is not only verified, but it is fully functional. So, that people come to know what kind of knowledge is available, whether it is valid or not, that can be actually taken up by the experts. Knowledge developers will ensure that they have been able to codify the knowledge properly, and the user would be in a position to say yes, this is the kind of knowledge I was looking forward to for use. And then you are going to identify the type 1 and type 2 errors, and you need to minimize this, so that there is no error in the process. So, as I was talking about, type 1 error is when you accept a hypothesis though it is correct, sorry, whether it is because but it is false, but in second case you accept or you reject a hypothesis, but it is correct. So, both that kind of things is avoided. Okay. You think that this knowledge is good, but ultimately it turns out to be bad. In second case, you think that particular knowledge which is not there, that is rejected, is not a part of the system, but that would have been much better to include it. So, these kind of errors should be avoided at the testing phase, so that you can include or exclude certain things. So, it can be used as exclusion or including criteria, so far as knowledge base is concerned. Now, after testing we move to the next part, that is the deployment part, okay, and that is where you have to see the selection of the knowledge base problem. Okay. So, you have to identify when it comes to deployment who are the users and forward they are going to make use of this. What kind of problems can be taken up and solved using the knowledge base that is being created by the knowledge developers and the experts, okay, and that is part of the system, knowledge management system. Okay. Because unless you are able to identify, okay, these are the problems where this knowledge management system is going to help you, it is not possible for you to move further, because you need to identify and pinpoint those areas where the knowledge management system can help people to solve their problems. Now, the next is easy of understanding the knowledge management system. Okay. What I mean to say here is that when you are going to develop knowledge management system, though it is a technical system, it is a technically enabled system, but you need to say that a knowledge management system includes what? Knowledge in the storage, that is the repository. Then you have a system for retrieval and use. So, ensure that the users of the knowledge management system understand where the knowledge is, how they are going to retrieve it, and how are going to make use of this, and that is what basically easy of understanding the knowledge management system is. Then how they are going to transfer knowledge is very, very important. So, whether people readily have the skill to apply that knowledge in a particular context or not, because knowledge does not lead to action. Okay. Knowledge lead to action only when you know how to apply that knowledge in a particular context. Say for example, you have learned about programming, you are very good in C++. C++ is used to write codes for various programs in different contexts in the organizations, right. Now, learning C++ is not good enough unless you are able to apply that to write a code or a program for a particular client in a context. So, that is where your knowledge need to be transferred, and for that you need certain skills to apply that knowledge. It means that how to do a job using the existing knowledge which is available with you, and that is where a KM system can help you. A KM system can help you to find out such programs, okay, which is written, and then you can make use of it to see that how people have applied or what processes have been followed by people in order to transfer knowledge, okay, at the workplace. Okay. Then what are the integration alternatives, how the different set of information knowledge which is available can be integrated together. Okay. Because if you are getting knowledge from different sources, then how are you going to integrate, which part of the knowledge is going to be useful. So, you must be capable enough to integrate the knowledge that is coming out by various sources. And then another issue is maintenance, how we are going to maintain the KM system, because it is a technical system. So, you need personnel to maintain system on a regular basis. You need to ensure, because it is IT enabled system, so it is virus free, it is not hacked, the privacy is maintained, confidentiality is maintained, right, system is working smoothly, there is no technical error. So, these are the issues related to maintenance of the KM system before you go for deployment. The next issue is related to organizational factors. Organizational factors, that how organization views the knowledge management system. Does it find it cost effective? Is it going to support a knowledge management system? Okay. So, you have to ensure that the leadership is very supportive, okay. And that is why you will find that some organizations have created separate positions or separate departments for knowledge management, who is responsible for initiating a knowledge management system in the organization, who is responsible to ensure that people share their knowledge with each other, who is responsible to ensure that knowledge is being utilized for effective purposes in the organization, and that is headed by a chief knowledge officer, which is who is reporting to say the CEO of the organization. Okay. So, when I am talking about organizational factors, since the management is going to support, provide leadership and resources, you need to ensure that they are going to provide all kind of support and resources to have a good knowledge management system. And it is possible only when the management find that it is credible, it is useful, and it is being used by the people for productive purposes. Okay. So, these are the issues related to deployment. Now, moving further on these issues, let us see that how we identify the knowledge based problem. So, that is the first part, selection of the knowledge based problem, the first point we have taken up now. So, system selection is may be assured if you have prior experience with computer applications, because it is a computer enabled system. So, if you have worked on these kind of systems, it would be easy for you. Okay. You have been involved in the building of the KM system, you have been part of the system, right. Payoff from the system is high and measurable. Okay. So, you need to develop certain metrics to measure and evaluate the knowledge management system effectiveness. It is very important, because unless you find that okay, the cost benefit exceeds cost, you do not need to develop a knowledge management system. Okay. So, make sure that the knowledge management system that you have developed is very good, it is giving good results. Okay. Organization is able to save lot of money out of this system, it is efficient. Okay. Then you can say that yes, the payoff from the KM system is very good, and at the same time you are able to measure it in terms of certain matrices, maybe say how much say ROIC. You can also say that what is the return on investment on KM. Okay. And then monetarily you can check that how much money you are able to save after you have deployed a knowledge management system, right. And then there is less resistance from the people, because when you are going to take up a project on knowledge management and you want to deploy it in the organization, you need to ensure that you get people support, because people may be apprehensive that why is asking me about the processes that is to be codified and then it is going to be put to use. Okay. So, you need to create a culture so that people do not resist to this kind of thing, otherwise what will happen? People will not come forward, they will not share their knowledge. Okay. And ultimately, if you are not going to capture and codify tacit knowledge, there is no use of having a KM system. Okay. So, you need to reduce the level of resistance among the employees, not only when you develop it, but even when it comes to user acceptance. Okay. So, that they are ready to make use of the knowledge management systems, and then you also create champions. Okay. So, many organizations have taken initiative in the process that they have tried to create knowledge champions. These knowledge champions are nothing else but who initiate the cause of commitment and have commitment to develop a good knowledge management system. They convince people, they communicate to the people, and they basically fight for the cause of knowledge management. Okay. So, these knowledge champions are basically the backbones of the system, and they could be part of the knowledge management team who are going to support the system at all stages, whether it is knowledge capturing stage, codification stage, deployment stage. Okay. And try to ensure that people are going to support this. Okay. Now, moving to the next part, if you look at it, what are the success factors? In order to successfully implement a KM system, see what these are the factors which are important. Users, I mean end users are really motivated to make use of the system, that they have a positive attitude. Okay. Yes, we have a system, we do not need to look for knowledge, it is available within the system or the organization. What we need to do, we have to look for it in the system and make use of it. Okay. For productive purposes, not for destructive purposes. Okay. That is very important. So, you need to understand that people have a very positive attitude about the knowledge management system that is developed. Okay. And they are really motivated and encouraged to use and apply that particular system. Okay. Another important issue that we have talked about is support and funding from the top management. Okay. So, here the leadership or the top management has a very important role, because they are going to provide leadership, resources and support to have a good knowledge management system, and they would be basically convinced only when you are in a position to convince them that okay, it is a good system and it which is going to have a good payoff, right. And then quality and easy of training. So, you need to train people, your stakeholders, when it comes to use of knowledge management system, and another important issue is that you need to provide them quality content. If you are able to provide quality content, you give them training, then probably it would be good for the successful implementation of knowledge management system. And then you also create strong champions, I have already talked about it, and maintenance of upgrades. You need to regularly maintain and upgrade your knowledge management system, and this basically helps in implementing a good knowledge management system in the organization. That is one thing. What are the outcomes? Good payoff for the organization, okay, and easy system and access and use for the organization. And what are the outcomes? You can see this: trainer skills, strong system commitment by IT staff, because since it is IT enabled system, so you need to ensure that the IT system or the IT staff is fully committed to have it, and there are less politics. Okay, there is no resistance, people are ready to accept it. You have to develop a very supportive culture and climate in the organization. So, you also as a part of it, you can also develop certain reward system, okay, and make sure that risk is minimized, okay, and people perceive it as a good system, and then you develop a good climate, and then you have adequate explanatory facilities. So, suppose somebody asks certain questions about it, so you would be able to explain and communicate about the benefits of the system, and if you are able to do it, probably it would help people to understand it better, and then they would be able to make use of the system. Third part, integratable. How the things are going to be integrated. Okay. See, here when I am talking about integration, it is basically the organization's local area network, or you can use even wide area network also. For example, in IT system, we have a local area network through which all faculty members, staff and students are interacting, and that is integrated to a information system infrastructure. So, this kind of system basically helps you to get information, and that helps you to even knowledge sharing integration when the KM system is usable company wide, because you have developed a KM system. For example, we have a ERP system which has integrated all the stakeholders together. So, any information that is relevant to a person can be made available to that person, okay, and if he is computer literate, he knows about the system, he can easily access to it, okay, and that helps you take decisions. Okay, decision making flow integration is also there, because you can make use of system to find out the trends and the patterns, what is happening, right. Say for example, you look at the absentees record of various say students, and you can take certain actions, then what needs to be done in order to prevent them, right. So, this kind of system can provide you information about the attendance of the student. It can also provide whether they have paid the hostel fees or not. You can also see how well faculty is doing in terms of research and projects, because this information is available to you, and based on that you make certain decisions for the benefit of the organization. Okay. And then workflow reengineering, when the KM system triggers change in the workplace, and you can also see that when this new knowledge is created based on the existing knowledge with the help of the knowledge management system, and people are trying to make use of that to create new things, re-engineer the things, okay, which basically brings changes at the workplace, it means that it is really successful for the organization. Coming to the third part, that is organizational factors, I have already talked about in detail. So, in order to talk about organizational factors, as I said that yes, top management support is of utmost important. They also have to support the work of the knowledge champions. Okay. Then you need to create a very good climate, supportive climate, which is risk free. There is no perception of threat who are going to use it or who are going to deploy it. Okay. Similarly, you have to have a good reward system. Those who are using knowledge management system are trying to be innovative and creative using the knowledge, so are going to reward them, okay. And make sure that there is no politics, okay. People are not going to create unnecessary fuss here and there and talk about something that is not good or favorable to the knowledge management system, okay. So, you need to create systems and checks and balances to ensure that the politics does not play any role, because this system is ever politics, because everybody is going to use it. It is a very objective and transparent system, which is going to help everyone. So, it is not meant for only few, but it is meant for everyone, and everyone is going to benefit it. So, this needs to be communicated to weed out of any political action by any set of people, whether it is middle management or junior people or even the unions. Sometimes unions may have certain perceptions or threats or risks involved. They say that, okay, if you are going to employ this kind of system, probably you have to work more, or you are going for automation. So, you need to convince them. So, this is not automation, this is where you are going to get knowledge to be more productive and effective, and you will be rewarded in a better way. So, probably you get better support from all the stakeholders, whether it is unions or workers or the managers, okay. And then you also need to see that as a manager, that what is the return on investment, okay. Because KM system involves finances and resources, you have to see that yes, it is going to provide good return. And let me give an example. Many companies which have implemented knowledge management system have been able to reap the benefits, like Slumberger. Slumberger is an oil major company, and they have been able to have a good knowledge management system, and they have been able to save up to $1 billion every year, okay. So, in that way you can say yes, there is a good return on investment on a KM system in an organization. Now, another important factor is user training and development. Yes, you have to prepare KM system training via advanced demos and easy to follow training. So, you need to prepare people, those who are going to make use of it, right. And you also ensure that they are communicated well about the benefits, so that there is less resistance, okay. And watch for knowledge hoarders. Make sure that nobody in the organization is going to withhold the information, because it is what you call an antithesis of knowledge sharing, okay. On the one side you have people who are going to share knowledge, other side who are going to hold knowledge. So, make sure that you have a system which does not allow knowledge hoarding at any particular level, right. And then you also watch for troublemakers and narrow minded superstars. Some people, okay, who always criticize, so they are known as troubleshooters. So, you need to convince them, okay, by whatever means, and ensure that these type of people are not going to be critical to this kind of system, okay. So, if people are ready to understand the benefits of the system, probably these kind of troublemakers will not be able to have a say in the process, right. So, look for resistance via projections, avoidance and aggressions. Make sure that people are not going to have any kind of these behaviors, like they are not going to avoid, they are not going to use it, or they are become aggressive or irritative or frustrated when you ask them to for use, because they will create 100 kind of trouble or problems, and they say this system has this problem or that problem. So, what you try to do? Try to get feedback from all the stakeholders, ensure that it is user acceptable, okay. And if it is user acceptable, probably you would be able to reduce the level of resistance from the employees. Then post implementation review, that is the last part of the system. And in post implementation, what happens? You have to see that yes, how the system is being used, because once you have deployed a system, you want to make sure that it is functional, right. So, based on this knowledge management system, whether people are using it, and if people are using it, whether the quality of decisions have improved or not. For example, if you have a recruitment system in your organization, earlier you were not taking help of the knowledge management system. Now, you have a knowledge management system, you have a knowledge map, you have a guide map to create a knowledge map for the recruitment process. Now, you have the recruitment process. So, look at this recruitment process which have been adopted, and you also have the outcome of the recruitment process. Use these processes when you are going to you are going for further decisions for recruitment, and whether the quality of recruitment that you have made is better than the earlier recruitment process or not. If it is improved, it means the quality of retention is better, more people have been, good people have been recruited and they are not going to leave, it means that your quality of decision is better. Okay. Then you also assess the attitude of the end users. So, since you are going for a dynamic change in the knowledge management system on a regular basis, keep upgrading it. So, make sure that the end users are communicated about it and they continue to have a very favorable attitude, because it is going to benefit them. Okay. Also review the cost of knowledge processing, because every time we are going to capture the knowledge and codify it, it involves a cost. So, ensure that the cost is not going to precede the benefits, and make sure that cost is minimum, because once you have deployed a system, when you go for additional input or putting additional say content in the knowledge system, probably the cost would be less. Okay. And then revisit change in accuracy and timeliness of the decision making. Make sure that yes, the knowledge content is accurate and any decision that is taken based on it is timely. It means that whenever it is required, it is going to help the manager to take a decision, because if it is not going to be timely, probably the knowledge has no use for the decision makers. So, look at the factors which is going to decide, internal and external factors. This is a framework affecting knowledge based system quality. Now, if you look at this, the factors which are going to affect the surrounding include what? People, technology and organization, right. So, here you have domain expert, here you have users, here is this knowledge. Okay. This is the technology, right. Now, if you look at this, these are what are the internal factors? These are the external factors, and these are the external factors. Okay. So, the system of the knowledge management, knowledge based system quality is going to be affected by the domain expert, use and the knowledge, and you also have knowledge developer here, probably I forgot it, right. So, the knowledge developer, domain expert, user and the knowledge, because it is moving from here. Knowledge, which is domain expert, is going to provide the knowledge to the developer, relate to the knowledge which is going to be used by the end users, and these are the factors: what kind of people you have, what kind of climate is there in the organization, okay, what kind of technology or the IT system that you are going to use, that is the infrastructure, IT infrastructure for maintaining, storage and retrieval of the IT system. So, this is very, very important. So, these are the internal external factors which is going to affect knowledge based system quality. Okay. Thank you very much. That is all for today.